Good morning, everybody. Blaine Austin here at Sewing Machines Plus, and welcome to our live Thursday show. Guys, we've got a fantastic show ready for you today. We have Jennifer Geitch here today. We have Deb Donovan here today. We're going to demonstrate some machines, 2 machines from Brother that we can now sell online for the first time, and it's from the Stellaire series. We're going to talk all about the XJ1, which is a combination machine. And then we're going to talk about the XE1, which is an embroidery only. And Jennifer, she's a Brother educator. She's going to be here this morning and talking about the XJ1, which is that combination machine. She's going to talk all about the sewing side of things and demonstrate some stuff. And then we're going to go to Deb Donovan at our San Marcos classroom. And Roger's over there with her with the camera. And they're going to talk all about the XE1, which is the embroidery side of the house. It's an embroidery only. But the XJ1, which is the combination machine, it's exactly the same embroidery unit. So you'll be able to get really good demonstrations from both. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat. But this morning, guys, we are so excited that you're here. We got a great show lined up for you with a lot of other things too. We're going to have some great giveaways at the end of the show today. And if you want to talk to me and ask a question or anything, we're going to have our call in today on the show. If you want to call in on the show and be on air, write this number down. It's 760-278-1440. So call in, and all you have to do is you can call right now and just leave a message. And if you want us to come on the air and talk to me, and then we'll call you back, and we'll tell you when that's going to happen so you can be ready for it. So, yeah, come say hi. We'll probably have time for a couple calls today. And but I got to say a big shout out before we get too far into the show to Sherry Higby. She's over in Oklahoma today. We have Karen Carr, our buddy up in Ohio. We have Doug S. in Missouri. So, hey, Doug. We have Coco Smith down in Louisiana, my old stomping grounds. And then we have Mary Daniel in South Carolina. So welcome to the show, everyone. Hey, if you're brand new, this is the first time you've ever seen one of our shows, put a number 1 in the chat right now. And everybody at the SMP Nation will make you feel welcome. But before we get the show started, I got to tell you about some dates. So I always tell y'all, when you come to the show, have a pencil and a piece of paper handy so you can write notes down. But one of the things that we're going to be talking about is Quilt Fest. And guys, we have been working really hard on Quilt Fest this year, and it is coming. Before you know it, it's going to be here. It's going to be March the 13th through the 17th. March 13th through the 17th is Quilt Fest. It's going to be a week long. We're going to be streaming live all day long, 8 hours each day. And we have got some great sponsors lined up for the show. We got some great giveaways. And get this, we are going to give away over $100,000 worth of products.
What?
Is that not insane?
That is insane, Blaine.
$100,000 worth of products we're going to give away on Quilt Fest. And the way you can see it is you can go to our YouTube page or our Facebook page, and we'll also probably be streaming it live on our own homepage on our website. However, if you watch it on the website, you can't chat and do all the things that helps you win. So you want to make sure you go to our YouTube page. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube page, go subscribe right now to it. Hit that bell notification and give us a thumbs up. If you're watching on Facebook today and you haven't liked our Facebook page, go like the Facebook page as well. It'll give you notifications and let you know when we're going to have the shows and different things. But you don't want to miss Quilt Fest this year. It's going to be awesome.
It's on the website, so go enter your quilts.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's one thing I wanted to talk about. So guys, we're getting ready. We've already launched a page. So right now, if you go to SewingMachinesPlus.com, the very front banner you see on our home page is the Quilt Fest. You can click on that. It takes you to the Quilt Fest page, and it gives you all the rules about entering a quilt. So this year, we've got a little bit of different thing that we're going to do. We're going to have one category. Everybody always, I think last year we had 2 categories, and we had a modern and a traditional. And, it's just a lot of work, and we're not set up to do like a big quilt show, a live quilt show. So virtually, we said, you know what, let's just have one category. You're going to enter your quilt, no matter what kind of quilt it is. We have the criteria. It tells you how to take the pictures and what it needs, what the pictures we need to see. We're going to do and then you enter them, and there'll be a page where everybody can go view those photos. So once you enter your quilt, we'll have a deadline that you can have to enter your quilt by, which will be on the page. And then we open it up for voting. So the voting will open up, and we're going to give 2 basically awards this year, or 2 categories of awards. We're going to give first through third place in what we call the People's Choice Award. And then we have celebrity judges coming in that are going to judge, and we're going to give a best of show. And all 4 people are going to win a huge prize package of really cool, machines and sewing machines and things. Plus, the 2 winners of the People's Choice and the Judge's Choice, they get the Golden Scissors Trophy along with all. Everybody will get a big ribbon to put on their quilt. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for Quilt Fest. And my good buddy Jane Klaus is going to help me co-host it again. And so we're going to have a good time. And we hope that y'all will join in, because I'm telling you, the prizes that we're giving away this year are insane. And so everybody will have a great chance to win. And Kyle, one lucky viewer is going to win a $25,000 Dream Studio, Quilting Dream Studio. $25,000. One
Blaine
person.
is just unleashed. He wanted to do the absolute most this year.
But it's going to be actually it's $110,000 worth of products that we're giving away on the show.
Oh my goodness.
That's the actual official numbers, 110. So it is going to be a lot of giveaway stuff, a lot of big prizes. So you don't want to miss that. But that leads me into our theme of the day.
Yeah, we got to talk about this, Blaine.
Our theme of the day is leopard print.
And why is that?
Does anybody know why our theme of, look, I've got a leopard print stapler.
Yeah.
See that?
Courtesy of Laura Cook.
Yep. I've got a leopard print calculator.
Oh, yes. So you're adding numbers and style.
Yep. I've got Kennedy and Kyle in the studio with me this morning.
Let me get us on here.
They're all in leopard print.
Let's see.
Kennedy's got leopard print shirt and hat. Kyle's got a leopard print shirt on.
Oh, yes.
And and Roger's even got a leopard print this morning. He's wearing leopard print.
We'll see him in a little bit.
But do we have a picture from the call center?
Oh, we do.
So this morning I get a call and they said everybody at the call center at the office are all in leopard print. So y'all see what's happening? They just gave it away.
And what are they holding, Blaine?
They are holding our brand new leopard print sew mat.
Oh my gosh.
Check that out. So guys, it is available to pre-order. They're on their way to get here, and you can go ahead and pre-order them today. So we have them on the show. Kyle has them. If you go to smplive.tv, you can go in there and order your sew mat right from there. You can find the product, click on it. It'll take you to, you see all the sew mats, but we've got the brand new leopard print on the page, and it's coming in two sizes. We have it in a medium size and a large size. So that's the only two sizes. Yeah. But I'll give it a little show that one more time. Look at that.
Look at it one more time.
So,
oh my gosh.
Pretty cool. So all you leopard print fans out there, and I am being told that there's a lot more than I'm thinking they're out there. Everybody says, I told them, I said, I don't see how leopard print's going to sell. We got the samples in, and all the girls in the office were fighting over them. So to put them at their desk. So
yeah, all the comments are, I want that, and I love that.
I know. So if y'all love leopard print, you want one of these, get on there right now and pre-order yours so you'll have it. And we're hoping they're going to be in next week. I've got to check again, but we got only 50 of each size coming in. So there are not that many coming. So hopefully that if y'all get on them right now and get a chance to get them. I also wanted to address some of the Fabric Palooza from last week. I got to tell you, some of you ordered so much fabric. Thank you for doing that. That was pretty awesome. But what happened? I got to tell you what happened. We were selling fabric so quick on the show. Like when I would show y'all fabric, everybody go start putting in their cart. Basically, y'all are ordering it faster than our system could keep up with updating the quantities on hand. So we did oversell some of the cuts of fabric. So what we decided to do is we ordered brand new bolts of fabric. They're going to cut that up, and then we're going to fill your order. So we did it in the order that the orders came in and filled the orders. But if yours is on back order, just be patient with us and wait, and we're going to get them cut up and get it sent to you. We apologize for that. We didn't even know that it would do that. And we kind of experienced this back in COVID time, back in, I think it was April in 2020. We had so many orders came in on a weekend one day, it crashed our system, and everybody buying sewing machines. So it kind of happened that way again. It takes about a minute for our system to go through the process and update the quantities on hand. Well, more people were buying within that minute, and it exceeded what we had in stock. So I apologize about that. I don't know if there's any way we can fix that, but next time we'll try to do something different. We hope that y'all enjoyed Fabric Palooza because we sure had a lot of fun, and man, y'all bought a lot of fabric. It was unbelievable. So I'm sure some of y'all have already probably started getting your fabrics in, but the ones that didn't, just be patient. We will get your fabric to you. So, all right, Kyle's any other business we need to talk about this morning?
I don't think so. I think we covered it all.
Yeah.
I think we covered all. We have got Kennedy. What do you have on Takeover Tuesday next Tuesday?
The one and only Carly Bell.
All right, so we have Carly Bell is going to be on Takeover Tuesday next Tuesday with Kennedy.
And she is going to be talking about her new owners classes.
That's right. I wanted to bring that up too. So, guys, we are just launched some what we call the new owners classes. And so we have them on quite a few machines already. But like if you buy a Brother or a Baby Lock 6 needle, you're going to get 6 hours of instruction online via Zoom, live Zoom class. And Carly Bell will be your instructor. And then if you buy the machine, we'll send you the link and you'll be able to get signed up. And then my wife, Michelle, will actually be calling you or emailing you and getting you the times and dates of the class. Then if you buy a Persona, the PRS 100 Persona by Brother, or if you buy the Baby Lock Alliance, Carly will teach a class for that. And then today's machines, if you buy one of the machines today, you'll automatically get a chance to sign up for those classes and get free owner classes. And basically, we're going to do it on, there's 4 machines that we're basically doing. It's going to be the Altair by Baby Lock, the Meridian by Baby Lock, and then the Brother Stellaire series, which is the XJ1 and the XE1. And those are the 2 that we're talking about today. And then we have, that's it for Carly Bell, the ones that she's teaching. And then if you buy a SWF 12 needle, we're going to have a new owners class for that. And Amber Binkham's going to be teaching it. So we're going to keep expanding this to other products. So if you buy them nationwide, it's going to be just like you were local here in the store and can come in and get classes. We're going to give you classes right online to be able to do that. So we're expanding that every day, trying to get them more and more. So y'all stay tuned. But Carly Bell is going to be talking about her class on that. And I'm excited to get this started.
And these educators were just, in the customer's position. So they can really relate to Carly and Amber because they were in your guys' same shoes and they have learned so much and they're just passing it on to you. Yep,
that's exactly right. So anyway, y'all look at and what'll happen, Kyle and his team are putting them on the product page. So if you see if you're looking at a machine, it'll show you if it's get a new owner class or not. So I know there's tons and tons of machines out there, but we're going to try to expand it as much as we can and get into the quilting side of things. We're going to get into serging and things like that too. So, all right, guys, we are ready to go. Are y'all ready? We are going to start. We got Jennifer in the house. So let's bring Jennifer in. She's going to talk all about that Brother Stellaire XJ1. It's a combination machine. And she's going to talk about that. Then we'll come back. And I have got some great news and some really exciting something to share with you after she gets finished. So, Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's so exciting to be here. I went downstairs and put my leopard print on for you.
Yay!
I love it. I love it. So, well, hey, we're so excited you're here. I know, it's been a while since we've got to work with you. And I think, was the last time we worked with you as you came down, you were here in San Diego live, right?
I was in San Diego, yes. And I was just going to say, when I was there, I bought one of your large mats.
But great.
One of those leopard print ones.
Oh, these leopard print, it's pretty awesome. Look at that. I mean,
Although
that thing.
I saw in the chat, they might be sold out already.
Hey, I hope they do, because we'll order a bunch more then if they do. But hey, we're so happy you're here. And I know that, this is one of your favorite machines, and I want you to tell everybody why. And I want you to get going and spend about 30 minutes, and then I'll come back and tell everybody how they can get one of these.
All right. That sounds great. Well, good morning, everyone. I am so excited to be here. This is one of my favorite machines. I love my Stellaire. I am going to be demoing the XJ1 this morning, which is the combo machine. I'm going to tell you all about the general features of the machine, as well as the sewing side. And I'm going to let Deb come in later and show you all of the awesome embroidery features. But as a quilter, the sewing side of the machine is just amazing. So I'm going to switch my camera. I am going to apologize. I am just outside of Portland, Oregon. We are not quite getting any sunshine yet this morning, so it's a little dark. I'm not having very much natural sun come into the window. So I've done my best with my lighting and my camera. So I'm going to switch over to the camera so that you can see the machine. So give me just a second to do that. And I've got the camera up on the screen. I'm hoping that you can still hear me. I'm going to do my very best not to stand in front of the machine while I'm showing it to you. And I am a quilter and a sewer. I am not a videographer, so don't hate me for any of my video skills. So here we have the Stellaire XJ1. I do have it set up just with the just for sewing. It has the box on the front of it with the bed of the machine. There is a embroidery unit that comes with it, but I don't have that set up because I'm just going to show you the sewing features. As you can see, it has a very nice screen. It's 10.1 inches. It's an LCD display. The great thing about the machine is you have this large arm in the front of the machine to work with. So if you are a quilter, you have 11.25 inches from the needle to the arm. In order for you to do any quilting, you can do large quilts, roll them up, go underneath the arm. You've got lots of room. And then up from the bed of the machine to the top of the arm is actually 5 inches. So that all calculates to roughly 56 square inches of sewing space, which is huge. So for quilters, that is really a lot of room. As you can see, the lighting on the machine is amazing. It's 11 inches of full spectrum lighting. And in the settings of the machine, you can actually adjust that lighting. So there's 5 different adjustable settings, and you can even turn the lighting off. So if you're doing something, I turn it off frequently when I'm on camera because I need to just see the needle. But if you're doing something and you have another light that you like to use, you can turn the light off in the settings. There is up on top in the cover a bobbin winding mechanism, and the bobbin actually is a separate winding mechanism. So you can actually wind a bobbin and sew at the same time, which is really a cool feature. So how many times do we get to where we're almost low on a bobbin, so we want to get a bobbin ready? You can do that while you're still sewing. The XJ1 is WLAN enabled, which means it is Wi-Fi capable. And that allows us mostly on the sewing side or embroidery side to do transfers with all of our embroidery programs, such as PE Design, My Design Snap, My Connection, the new Artspira app, and Design Database Transfer. I am going to leave it at that because I'm going to let Deb cover some of those features in her demonstration. The XJ1 has automatic tension. In the settings of the machine, you do have an operation guide. There are built-in videos that show you how to use the machine. So if you come back to your machine and you are not sure how to wind a bobbin or how to thread it or have some troubleshooting issues, there are videos built in the machine so that you can do that right there from your sewing room. The XJ1 has a Sew Straight Laser Vision Guide is the full name for it, and that is a laser guide that you can use for sewing. I am going to demo that. That is an amazing feature for quiltings. And you've got buttons all up here on top. So I'm going to try to zoom in on my camera so I can show you all of those buttons. So on the front of our machine, we've got all of our operation buttons. This is the needle threader. If you have not experienced our automatic needle threader, I will demonstrate that. It is amazing. It is the, once you have an automatic needle threader and you go to a machine that doesn't have it, you miss it very, very much. We have speed control. So you can sew as slow as a turtle, or if you're a little jackrabbit, you can go all the way to the right, and that will be your sewing speed. This can be adjusted if you use a foot pedal and maybe you're a pedal to the metal, but you don't want to go that fast. You can go ahead and adjust your speed here. It is just a speed adjustment. It is not a stitch regulator. We have presser foot up and down. A thread cutter. We all know how great a thread cutter is. We have needle up and down. And I need to get out of the menu there so that I can use these functions. So you've got needle up and down. This button is the lock stitch. So as a quilter, if you're doing any free motion quilting, you might want to just lock the stitch at the beginning. You don't really want to knot, but you don't want that stitch to pull out when you're finished. So you would just touch that button at the beginning of your stitching and it will lock your stitches in place. We have a reverse button and then the start and stop button. The start and stop button is mostly used in embroidery. However, if you do not like to use a presser foot and you want to just use the start and stop button, you can do that. So the only caveat with that is the presser foot, or not the presser foot, the foot pedal has to be unplugged in order for the start stop function button to work when you're sewing. So let me go ahead and talk about some of the features of the machine that come with it. You get 13 presser feet, which are included with the machine, and that includes 3 quilting feet. So you get a 1/4 inch foot with a guide, you get a free motion quilting foot, and then you get our digital dual feed walking foot or move it foot, which is like a walking foot, but instead of teeth on the bottom, it runs on a belt. There's a belt instead of teeth. There are 727 built-in sewing stitches, and you get 16 buttonhole styles, and there are 4 lettering fonts, and that is on the sewing side. That's not the embroidery side. That's all within the sewing side. So let me do a couple demos. I'm going to zoom out here, and I'm going to switch my camera. Like I said, I'm not a videographer. I'm going to switch my camera so that you can see the screen. See on the screen, you can see the foot of the machine. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to zoom in. I want you to see how this needle threader works. So I have some thread in here. I have threaded the machine. And the needle threader works with that button that I talked about. All you do is push that button and the machine will thread itself. So that is great for all of us who have a little bit of a hard time seeing that eye of that needle. The machine takes care of that for you. Then I wanted to show the Sew Straight Laser Vision Guide. Now, I'm going to zoom in, and I've got some sun coming in my one window. I am going to turn off the lights on the machine so that when I turn, actually I'm just going to turn them down so that when I turn the laser on, you can see it. I just have to remember which. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to turn the light down a little bit. And on my screen, I'm going to switch cameras so you can see where I'm going. On my screen of my machine, I'm going to zoom in. There is a category that's labeled Q for quilting stitches. I'm going to go to Q, and I'm going to choose Q1, which is the center needle position. And then I'm going to go over to my machine first, sorry. I'm going to go over and I'm going to turn my laser on, which is down below. So I'm going to move the camera down. Again, I'm not a camera. So your laser is right here next to the presser foot up and down on your screen. I'm going to turn that on, leave it set at 3.5. 3.5 is my center line. Now when I go over to the bed of the machine, you can see that the laser is set up, and by setting it in the center, as a quilter, I do a lot of binding, so I can take my binding pieces. I don't have to draw my line any longer. I can go ahead and set my binding pieces at my 45-degree angle. And then when I put these underneath the machine, I can use that laser guide to stitch my angle. So I'm going to line it up on the center. And I'm going to watch where the laser is and keep that so that my pieces are lined up. Use my thread cutter. And I did that backwards on camera, of course, but you can see that I did not have to draw a line. I have a perfect 45 degrees. You can also use that laser pointer or the laser line for a seam allowance. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to move it to 10 1/4. 10 1/4 is going to be my 5/8 inch seam allowance. And I'm going to set this at Q3. I'm in the same menu. And I can take some fabric and I can then use that laser guide on the edge of my fabric. That will allow me to use it to keep my 5/8 inch seam allowance. You can set your laser guide for 1/4 inch. You can set it for 3/8 of an inch. If you're doing clothing, you're going to use 5/8 of an inch generally. So it's really nice to have that laser guide that extends beyond this side of your foot to use as a guide while you're sewing. One of my favorite features on the screen of the machine is the pivot function. And if I turn my laser guide off and I go to turn my reverse stitch on, turn my scissors on, and this is my pivot, which is presser foot up and down. If I have that activated, that means that every time I stop the machine, my needle's going to stay down and my foot is going to go up. So if I have all of those activated, go back to the bed of the machine and I start stitching. My machine will take either a back stitch or a lock stitch. I can sew. And then using that button above the start stop button, which is the reverse, if I just touch that and let go, I am not touching the presser or the foot pedal. I'm not touching any part of the machine. It goes ahead and takes my back stitch for me. It cuts my thread and it raises the foot. So that is an awesome feature. If you're doing any sort of piecing or quilting, you can just use that pivot function, use your reverse function, lock off your stitches. You can also use it when you're just piecing. So if I were to piece, every time I stop, my foot comes up and I can put my next piece of fabric down underneath. So half square triangles, any kind of piecing you're doing, if you do a lot of chain piecing, this is a great feature. Let's see, the other feature that I really wanted to show was the sideways sewing. So if I go back to my screen of my machine, let's see if I can zoom in just a little bit more. Right above the Q category, we have number 5, which is sideways sewing. So your machine can sew not just forward. You can tell your machine to sew backwards. You can tell your machine to sew left, to sew right. You can even have it sew on a diagonal. I use this when I am doing any kind of bag making, if I'm attaching handles. Or imagine if you had to attach patches to a jacket or to a shirt or the back pocket of a pair of jeans. You can use this, and instead of having to push that garment underneath the bed of your machine, you can just tell the machine which way to sew, which side to sew on, and then which way to sew. So if I go back over to my other camera, I'm going to go ahead and tell the machine just to sew forward first. And now I want the machine to sew to the right. So on the screen, I'm going to choose sideways to the right. And I'm just going to hit my foot pedal. And now I want my machine to sew backwards. So in reverse, my machine's going to sew in reverse. And then now I want it to go to the left and close off that box. Cut my thread. And we've sewn a box without having to turn the fabric under the bed of our machine. Back on screen. I'm going to try to come up a little bit. As I said, you get the 13 presser feet, including a 1/4 inch quilting foot with a guide. You get the Move It dual digital foot, which is like a walking foot, but uses a roller system. It does really nice with moving your quilt sandwich under the machine. And you also get a free motion quilting foot. And the great thing about free motion on this is not only do you have all that room under the arm of your machine to move your quilt around, we have a one-touch free motion button, and it's right here on screen. All you have to do is touch this button. If you notice, it will show you what foot to put on. So the O foot is your free motion quilting foot, and it automatically drops your feed dogs for you. So you're all set to quilt. So I would usually put my my machine quilting gloves on. I do find that those help me when I do machine quilting free motion. And you can just put your quilt sandwich under there with your free motion foot on and go. When you're done, you just touch this button again. Those feed dogs will pop back up and you're ready to go back to your piecing or your sewing, whatever you're doing. Just checking on my time here. I want to make sure I give Deb enough time. Go back to the home screen. And I'm going to show you some of the decorative feature or decorative stitch features. If I can zoom in here. I'm going to go back into sewing. And I'm going to go into the character decorative stitches. Like I said, there's 727 built-in stitches. That's a lot of stitches. That's probably more stitches than I'd ever use in my lifetime, but that leaves you a lot of options. But that's not all you have. You can create your own stitches or combine stitches. So let me just show you some of the stitches in here. I'm going to go to category number 6, and I'm going to scroll up all the way. If you look, as I scroll up, look, we're at stitch number, category 6, stitch number 80. This goes all the way down. I'm going to choose stitch number 275. If I can get my finger to cooperate here. Lots of stitches. So let's go to 275. That looks like some tulips. I don't know if you can see that on screen. But if you're not quite sure what that stitch is going to look like when you stitch it out, there is a stitch preview up here on top. If I just touch that, it will put that on the screen. I'm going to zoom in here. So I can actually see in detail what that stitch looks like before I stitch it. I'm going to touch OK. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go to number 8. And I'm going to choose another stitch. So we can choose a stitch. I can actually add stitches together and make my own custom stitch. So I'm going to go to this plus here on the top and hit plus. And I'm going to return and go back to maybe category number 7 and scroll and find a stitch I like. Maybe I like this one. It will add that stitch in there. And then maybe I like this one. It will add that stitch in there. You can create your own stitches. You can actually change the size, the width, and the length down at the bottom. So down at the bottom of the screen here, you've got the width and the length. The light blue on the screen is the stitch that's selected. I can change the width and the length of that stitch. I can use these arrows and choose maybe the first stitch I want it to be a little longer. And then if I want to see again what the stitch looks like, I go to my view, and there it will show me what my stitch looks like if I were to stitch it out. I'm going to go back home, and I'm going to show you another wonderful feature. This is a brother exclusive feature. This is on the Stellaire XJ1 version of the machine. This is not on the XE1 because it is in the sewing. But when you go into the decorative stitches, character decorative stitches, there are your fonts that are built in. But then you also have something called My Custom Stitch. So say you've got a stitch in your head and you've looked through all of those 727 stitches and you don't see that stitch that you have been thinking about, you can actually draw that yourself. So in My Custom Stitch, you can come in here. You can start with a stitch if you'd like. So you can go and pick any of the stitches that are already built into the machine. And then maybe you want to add to it. So you can use these arrows. You can delete parts of the stitch. I'm going to use these arrows and I'm going to move up here. If you watch the little pencil, I'm going to zoom in so you can see the little pencil. I'm going to use my arrow keys. I'm going to move the pencil down. And when I get where I want it, I hit the set, which is in the middle of the arrow. Then I can go ahead and use the arrows again. I can actually draw. And you can see how you can get really creative. Again, my stitch view is here on top. If I touch that, it's going to show me what my stitch is going to look like when I stitch it out. That is a completely awesome feature of the Stellaire, my custom stitch. You can create these and you can even save them in memory. So you can save them to a flash drive, you can save them to the machine. So if you are thinking about this stitch for a project that you had upcoming and you want to go ahead and create it before you forget it, you can create it and save it in your machine so that when you're ready to stitch it for your project, it'll be there for you. Some other great features we have, if we go into our decorative stitches, we can choose a decorative stitch. Maybe I like these little moon shapes, but when I put my dress or my sleeve or whatever I'm putting the decorative stitch on under the machine, it's going the wrong direction. We do have a mirror image, so we can actually flip that decorative stitch right on the screen so that it sews in the opposite direction. That is a wonderful feature. Here's another one. Maybe we want it to go in the opposite direction. We can change it from large to small. And then maybe we get to where we just want to put that on a part of our quilt block. Maybe we're doing some crazy quilting and we're doing that on a quilt block, and then we want to put it in another area. So we stitch so far, we can always go back to the beginning. This is the back to the beginning button. There are so many wonderful features in this machine. So I think that covers all of the sewing side of the machine. I think it's time to see some of the great embroidery features of the machine. I'm going to come back on camera here. And since I was over at the machine, I couldn't see any questions. So,
well, Jennifer, thank you so much. I'm sure there's going to be some questions and we'll probably be able to answer most of them for you. But hey, that was awesome. And I know that, you know, I always say this, but you could probably spend 8 hours showing that machine as much stuff as it's got on it.
There's so much to it.
You know, and
Like
I saw somebody in the comments, Jennifer, I'm sorry. I saw somebody in the comments talking about doing a stitch book. And, you know, a lot of people, just so y'all know what a stitch book is, we use them in the retail stores a lot of times. And basically what it is, we take pieces of fabric and we put all the groups of stitching on it, just stitch it out in different colors. Like one page may have all blue, you know, thread on a white piece of fabric. And then we change into another group of stitches, and we do a big book basically of fabric. And then what we do is we just get a big binder and we put them in the clear page sleeves and that are already hole punched, and just put them in a book. So that way you can open it up and look at all the stitches that you know have been stitched out with that machine. So I don't know if that's what they were talking about, but that's what we do a lot of. And it's really cool to see them all stitched out.
That is a great tool to have next to your machine, because there are so many stitches, you know.
Especially this one.
Yeah, 727 stitches is really a lot of stitches.
That is a lot of, that would be a big thick book, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
Well, hey, Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on. And we're going to tell everybody how they can get this, okay?
Perfect. Thank you for having me.
All righty. All right, everyone. This was the Stellaire, Brother Stellaire XJ1. And again, it has an embroidery side of it, but we're going to show that on the XE1, which is just the embroidery only machine. But the embroidery part of it is exactly the same. So when Deb shows that, she's going to show you the XE1, but it'll show you the embroidery side of the XJ1. But this is, you see it on the screen right there, guys. The price on this is $8,899. And guys, again, we have an unbelievable special on a few things today. And but I want to tell you a little bit about this machine. And again, like, Jennifer was saying, 727 built-in decorative stitches, 4 sewing fonts, it has 3 alphabets. Again, this thing, and I'm going to tell you just a little bit about the sewing side of it, the highlights on it, just because we're going to get into, the embroidery side of it. But again, combined stitches for multiple uses. It has that straight stitch laser guide that Jennifer demonstrated. And guys, that is such an awesome function because you can keep your sewing straight, and it just gives you a guideline to sew by. Really cool. It has that fast sewing speeds, with that advanced presser foot controller. And again, this thing, it's 1,050 stitches per minute. So it's extremely fast. And there's just so many things on here. It's hard to talk about them all, but it has that workspace. It's 11.25 inches, the throat space on that. And it's 5 inches tall right there in the tallest part of that. And there's just so many things to talk about. But guys, one of the things I want to talk about on this is, again, you can give us a call right now. I always tell y'all sometimes call in, because I'm telling you, I'm going to make it worth your while if you call us today. If you're interested in getting this XJ1, give me a call today, or give the Nix team a call at 800-401-8151. And I am telling you, and I have to be careful about my words, Kyle. I promise you, you're going to be blown away, and it's going to be worth a phone call. It's going to be the best phone call you've made this year.
Look at Blaine. Look at Blaine. Look at him.
Is that a good way to say it?
Yes.
It's the best. I made a great deal, and I'm having to be very careful about what I say today.
Just call in, and you
just
won't
call
be
in.
sorry.
You won't be disappointed. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. I guarantee it. You will not be disappointed. And if you call in to buy this, and you're in it, I'm telling you, that's all I can say.
Just call in,
Trust me on this. If you're wanting one of these, call right now. Nick's team will tell you all about it, and it is awesome. It is awesome. All right, so we are going to move on, and we're going to go to the San Marcos classroom. We got Roger over there with the camera. We got Deb on the XE1. Now she's going to talk all about the embroidery side of the XJ1 and all the features of the embroidery on the XE1. And then we'll come back and tell you a little bit about that. So welcome to the show, Deb and Roger.
Hey, good morning, Blaine.
Good morning. So we got to get Roger in front of the camera real quick.
Yes,
Is there a way he can do that? Can he jump in the front?
We'll look through the back, Roger.
Roger,
you can see was leopard.
Yeah, Roger's sporting his leopard print this morning.
There's a theme
that is
today.
our theme. And you can see our theme is our leopard print. And so everybody, those sew mats are on the way. So you can pre-order them right now. So if y'all want to get a sew mat, we have 50 of the large, 50 of the medium coming in. So order yours right now, pre-order it.
Deb's got a little bag behind her.
I do. I've got a sew mat right back up here
Oh,
on
I
the
see
wall.
it.
Oh, there you
Yeah, I see that. All right, Deb, well, we're going to let you get going and tell everybody about the exciting features on this machine, and then we'll come back and tell them how they can get one.
Okay. There is so much to talk about on a Stellaire on the embroidery side that Blaine's probably going to come in and cut me off at some point. So, but I'm going to do my very best to keep it down to a manageable 30-minute time slot there. I love the Stellaires. I was so excited when these machines came out that it's kind of like what I've been waiting for a long time when they came out, because it was really affordable, relatively speaking, of course, packed full of features. This is the Stellaire series, whether you get the embroidery only or the combo, is honestly a machine that you're going to be hard pressed to grow out of, no matter what you like to do with your embroidery. It's good for anybody. It's good for a beginner. It's good for your entire embroidery journey. The Stellaire can support you with that because it has everything from the basics all the way up to what I will show you is baby digitizing a little bit later. Now, the Stellaire comes in 2 versions. I have the combination back here, the sewing and embroidery that Jennifer just showed you, and I have the embroidery only version of it right here in front of me. You might want to know why an embroidery only, and really it comes down to 2 things. If you want an embroidery only machine, if you think that you need different features on your sewing and your embroidery machine, so you don't have to compromise, you can get the embroidery machine that best suits your needs and the sewing machine that best suits your needs. We have a teacher here that has a Brother straight stitch machine. She will not give up that PQ 1500 for love or money because we've tried. So she doesn't ever want anything other than a straight stitch machine. Getting a combo machine would not be the best choice for her because she's never going to go off the straight stitch. So if she wanted an embroidery machine, the embroidery only would be the right one to pair for her. The other reason I like to have an embroidery only machine is because it lets me do 2 things at once. Time is a big thing for me because I like to go home and sew in the evenings and I have to work here during the day. So I like to be able to get 2 things done at once. And with an embroidery only machine, I can set that machine up on the other side of the room, let it do its thing, sit down at the sewing machine and have my hands on and working on a project there. So I could be making baby bibs while I'm piecing the baby quilt. I could be embroidering gifts while I'm making a Halloween costume. I could do 2 things at once pretty easily because all you have to do is listen for the machine to stop sewing because then you know it's time to get up and rethread the needle. Actually, my doctor would probably appreciate it if I got up more to iron and rethread the needle than sitting in my chair all day long. So those are the 2 reasons why you really kind of want to think about what's the right choice for you, an embroidery only versus a combination, a 2-in-1 machine. But that being said, kind of going back to the beginning, the Stellaire is an amazing machine that is just packed full of features on the embroidery side. I hope that you kind of get a little taste of it, but there is no way I can show you everything that this machine can do in 30 minutes. So, but right first, I'm going to move my chair, Roger. I'm going to walk across the screen. I know I'm not supposed to do that, but I want you okay, we're going to see that in 10 minutes. All right, here I am back. So the XJ1 is embroidering back there behind me. So you can see how well it's moving and hear that it's not really very loud. That's right, it does the eyeball first. I did that yesterday too when I was practicing. So let me show you the Stellaire. Both Stellaires have 727. Oh, hold on. I need to do that again. 727 embroidery designs built in them, including 101 Disney designs. I forgot to make it be all one color. 101 Disney designs, 727 embroidery designs in total, and 24 fonts are built into the Stellaire. That's enough to keep you busy for a really long time. The Disney designs are what you'd expect. You have all your favorite friends from Disney and Pixar that are available in here. And then we also have hundreds of other embroidery designs that are built into the machine. If this isn't enough for you, there's a USB port on the side, and the millions and millions of designs that are available on the internet are something that you can bring in. And anything that I'm going to show you here, you can pretty much do to any design that you're going to bring in on a USB as well. So let me show you the basics here. I'm going to go and grab my seahorse right here. I can see right here with the seahorse how big it is. I can see how many stitches it is, how long it's going to take to stitch out, and how many thread color changes there are in there. So even as a preview, I have all the information that I need to know whether this is the right design for me or not. And that's because if you look at these thumbnails, they're all roughly the same size because that's how thumbnails work. But I can tell you that this one is 4.5 by 5, as opposed to the seahorse, which is 2 by 3.5, even though they both look the same size on the preview screen. So I'm going to go and pick my little seahorse here. and we're going to have just a little bit of fun with him. This is all the basic stuff. And I'll be honest, most embroidery machines can do this. So we've got our move right here. I can move him on the screen. I can rotate him 90 degrees, 10. I can move him also. And if I, with the fine tune buttons that are there, but if I don't want him standing on his head, then it's really easy to undo all those changes and get him right back in the middle of the screen. And that stuff's basic. That's going to help you to position on anything that you're looking at setting yourself up on. So let me show you a couple of other things that I can do with him. Oh, I'm using the duplicate button. The duplicate button is one of the kind of higher end features that you're going to really love because you don't have to go back and re-add a design. And if you've already resized it or done anything to it, it will duplicate it exactly how you changed it. So let me just make a couple more little friends here. So sizing is a big thing. Embroidery designs come in at a certain size, but for me, they're rarely actually the size that I want them to be. So if I take this guy right here, I can make him about 20% bigger. And I can take this guy and make him about 10% smaller. And that's what you'll find on most embroidery machines. But what I can also do on the Stellaire is I can take that same seahorse, click the optional resizing button, and I can make him a whole lot bigger than 20% bigger. I can make him 200% bigger. Oops, get out of there. And then same goes on the opposite side. I can make him super small. I can get 60% of the original size. So not only can I do plus 20% and minus 20%, I have the flexibility to go twice as big and almost half the size. Actually, visually, it looks more like a third of the size or a quarter of the size, which is amazing because that means that the designs that you have built into the machine and the USB sticks are going to go so much farther for you because they're always going to fit in the right place for you. I was trying to think of why this would be important. And what came to mind for me is if you are embroidering like t-shirts for a family reunion or jacket backs for the whole family or something like that, you could have it be larger so that it fits on mom and dad, medium size so it fits on the 5th grader, and tiny so that it fits on the 3-year-old, and have everybody be in proportion. But you can do that and resize things to your heart's content on here, because 200% and 60% is a lot of ability to go change the sizing on there. And the reason that it works is because it's adding and deleting stitches so that the density stays the same. So your embroidery is still going to look great. So it's going to let you be creative. It's going to let you put the boundaries, and it's still going to let your creativity look great when it gets all stitched out. So I love that resizing feature. It's been around for a while, but it's one of my favorite things about this machine. So now let me get rid of my little friends here. And then, that was another feature that I have here. I have a group button. Let me just bring that little seahorse back in again for a second. If I make a couple more, duplicate, I can choose if I get these two guys perfectly lined up and I'm exactly in love with where they want to be, I can actually come down here and I can group those two together. So now they are going to move. They are going to move as a pair, right? So they're tied together. So if you need to move something, you can move everything together in unison. You don't have to worry about it. And that's the group function, which is another one of those things that is going to make me have an easier time embroidering. It's going to make me look like I can get stuff lined up super easy, and it's not going to take me as much time to get done what I need to get done. All right, so now let me get rid of all of those and delete them all at once. I happen to like this little rhino right here. He kind of makes me smile. So you guys are going to get to look at him today too. Same kind of preview screen going on here. You can see that he is 5x7, 21,000 stitches. And down here, you can see all 4 colors that are in this rhinoceros and how long they're going to each take to stitch out. So by looking at this, I can see that the green, which is most of his body, is going to take 20 minutes to stitch out. But the orange, which is pretty much just on the bird, is only going to take 2 minutes to stitch out. So you can have an idea of how long it's going to take each color to stitch out for you. Let me set him right there. Actually, I want him to flip the other way, and we'll see why in a minute. That's just kind of for me. If you can see, when Roger can zoom out in a second, I'll show you later, but I have a bird quilt behind me that's appliqued with, and I stippled around the outside of it. It took me a really long time to do all that stippling around the outside of it because I had to be really careful about getting in and out of the little corners by the beaks and the tail feathers. But on the Stellaire, if you want to quilt in the hoop, you can do it so easily because it is literally the press of one button and you can set up your quilting design. It's going to stipple around the outside of my rhinoceros. That's a little bit of a big hoop, so I can pick the hoop size that I want. I go for the 9.5 by 9.5. I can make it a little bit of white space kind of outside the hippo, and that's a little bit too tight of a stipple for me, so I can make that loosen up as well. So I can do all those things right here. I don't know any other machine where I can stipple quilt around an embroidery design with literally one press of the button. So you don't have to be a professional quilter. I mean, real quilters have robotics available to them now. This is an embroiderer's version of that kind of same process that the people that are quilting with the robots on the long arms are doing. So let me cancel that though. The other thing that's really popular right now is patches, right? You know, stickers, patches, pins, all that kind of stuff that people can use to personalize things. I would love to make a patch of that, but I'm going to tell you that I would hate to cut that, to have to do that outline around the outside of that hippo, because that's just a lot of detail for me to go in there, even in software, to go in there and make that shape around the outside of the hippo. I keep calling him a hippo. He's a rhino. Okay, he's a rhino. But to make a patch, there is one thing that I need to do, and that's press that button right there. So it brought a pink outline around the outside of my rhino, and that pink outline, you'll have to trust me, is a proper applique. There are 2 straight stitches that are underneath that satin stitch. So I've got my tack down stitch, I've got my placement stitch, and I've got the satin stitch on top. So I made a patch right there, one press of the button. That was all I had to do. So easy and amazing. So let me undo that though, because I can also, let's go and add a name to our hippo. And I'm going to go and use Derek because Derek is the newest little one in the family and he is just about 2 months old. So here's Derek's name in a very formal cursive, which really does not fit the vibe at all of my fun and funky rhino. But I can go in and I can change that. I don't have to delete it and start all over again. And if I had misspelled Derek's name, that's not a big deal either, because I can go back into edit and go back into the text tools. And if I need to, right here, I can just backspace and correct any spelling errors that I made. But what I really like is hitting these 3 A's down at the bottom, and it has brought up all of the rest of the fonts for me. So I can choose any font and preview any font that's built into the machine. Any of those 24 fonts, I can just click on them right here and see which one I like the best. So I'll be honest, I don't pay any attention to what font I choose when I put it in there in the first place, because I know that I can easily find the font that I want just by opening up this screen and choosing what I would like to, and just auditioning all those different fonts so easily. Again, it's those things that make me be able to make things that are custom and personalized. Even if it doesn't have a name on it, it's something that nobody else has. So I've got Derek's name in there. Did I spell that wrong? That is C's, isn't it?
Derek?
Is that those E's or C's?
I can't see bad.
I need to put my glasses on because I'm pretty sure those are C's.
Yeah, those are C's.
Okay. All right. That one was totally not on purpose, guys. I need to put my glasses on too. So let me go and delete that and put in an E. Yeah, I can see that's an E now. And delete that and put in an E. I guess I did need to show you that to you after all. Karma said I needed to show you how to fix a spelling error. So here's Derek's name right here. And I can go, I didn't mean to close out of those text tools. I have this array button down here, which is a nice feature. Again, it's going to make your embroidery look that much better. It's going to make your design look that much better because you can take Derek's name and put it on a curve. And then I can take that name and let me size it down just a little bit. Now I can take that name, go all the way out, go into editing, go into rotating, and I can rotate that name to get it to kind of like tuck in exactly on top of the toucan right there. So I like to kind of put things together like that because it looks like I really put a lot of thought into making it. I just didn't drop a word and drop a design down, even though it's really only 2 steps more complicated than dropping down the name on top of the embroidery design, but it just makes it look a whole lot better. So, and you can see in the rotation, I not only have 90, 10, and 1 degrees, but I also have a 1/10 of a degree rotation. On this one, it's not going to be bad, but when you get into some of the other features, that 1/10 of a degree is going to make the difference between you liking what you're seeing and not liking the alignment that you have. So, wasn't that fun? I mean, and that was all so easy. Honestly, a kid could do it. Our owner's granddaughter used to come in, and when she was really young, she'd come in and we'd plop her down in front of an embroidery machine and she would stitch out Disney princesses like at the age of 6. So it's that easy to do all of these things on this embroidery machine. So now let me clear all of that out because that is all stuff that you are going to do kind of like on a white hoop, on an empty piece of fabric. But as you advance through your embroidery, you're going to want to move beyond pieces of fabric and into other types of things. So what I have right here is a embroidery design that was already stitched out. So you'll notice that these are special hoops. They've got these black and white markings at the top and the bottom because that's what the Stellaire is going to use to see what's going on in the hoop. Well, move my hoops over here. There is literally an app for that. There is not a camera on the machine, but that's okay. There doesn't need to be because I have a camera on my phone. So if I turn on this phone, or it's actually an iPod, and I'm just going to tell it to go into the Brother My Design Snap app, tell it I want to scan a design, say okay, and then if I just get it right on here, it's very forgiving. Come on. I say it's very forgiving, but I can't talk at the same time. Hold on. Apparently I couldn't talk and hold my hand still at the same time. It took a picture for me of the hoop, of the design that's in the hoop. And now when I hit this blue button at the bottom, it is going to send it to the embroidery machine. And then it says that it sent it. So if I come back in here and just grab this, and I'm going to do SMP because SMP rocks. I can do that. The image was sent from the mobile app. Yes, please update. Attach the frame that was used in the image. It's just being a little bit bossy. You don't need, it's just gonna slide that on there. Hit the OK button one more time. And you can see on the screen, I now have a background that exactly matches what's going on in my hoop. So it doesn't matter what you have in your hoop. You can scan the hoop with your phone, send that background image over to your embroidery machine, and now you can know exactly where you want to put something. So I don't have to worry if it's not hooped exactly straight and my SMP is going to be a little bit off kilter. I can exactly see what that's going to look like, where it's going to stitch out, and then once I get it exactly where I want it, I can just push over to embroidery and get that embroidery done. The other ways that that's going to be really good for you, there's a ton of places that this is going to be helpful. So I have, so what I have here is a pre-printed recipe towel. So there's an apple pie recipe right here, but I use that scanning feature to go and position the apple pie and then the words Mom's Apple Pie at the top. So I was able to scan it, get everything positioned exactly where I want it, no guesswork, and made sure that it stitched out exactly how I wanted it to stitch out. So you can do that with all sorts of other things. You can take a fabric. This one is hooped worse. It's really kind of off balance there, but I could take a word and line it up on this stripe exactly perfectly because I can scan it. And so I don't have to worry about guessing and God forbid a protractor. I can just scan this into the background. These stripes will come up. I can take my word, align it exactly on the stripes. And that's where that 1/10 of a degree rotation is going to really come into play. Because otherwise you're back at the optometrist's office going, is it better with +1 or -1? And you're like, the answer's in the middle, but you can do 1/10 of degrees of rotation so you can get to that middle ground. Where it's really cool though is on garments. So I have marked this little jean vest with where I might want to embroider something. And I literally just did X marks the spot on a piece of tape. I can hoop that, scan the background, and then go and embroider on top of that. Take the tape off first. That's a lesson that I've learned. And that jean jacket looked easy, but this polo is a lot harder to try and manage. Especially this is kind of a kid size one, so I'm kind of managing the placket versus the sleeve right here, the seam for the sleeve. So I have a pocket right here, and I've marked right on top of that pocket where I would like something to go. If anybody's done a shirt, you know how hard they are because really it looks not bad like that. But when I embroider it, it's going to look like this. And so it's kind of harder to keep track of and do all that. So let me scan this one for you too. I can scan it actually just like this with my little app. Scan it and say, okay, and not talk while I take a picture. I actually have to tell you that I love the leveling on this little app that Brother made. You know, when you're trying to take a picture of something on your floor and you're holding it and you're trying to like judge whether it's square, you know, are my edges square or not square, because of those marks that are on the hoop, it gives you the flexibility. As long as you get it relatively straight, and the app will tell you when you're straight enough and hold it steady for 3 seconds, it'll take that picture and send it over. Oops. Don't tell Blaine I dropped his iPod. So now I can, did I send that? Ooh, that iPod did not like that. Okay. We're going to do that again with my phone, since when I dropped the iPod, it's cranky now. So let me just attach to the Wi-Fi that is in the building. That is the thing, is that your machine and your phone have to be both on the same Wi-Fi network. So let me open up that and open up this and come take that picture again. There we go. Took the picture, send to machine, sending, sent to embroidery. Do I want to update? Yes, please. Attach the frame. And this is where it gets fun, because I have to take my shirt and literally turn it inside out to be able to put it on the machine. So let me put that on there real quick. Okay. It's on there. Attach the frame. Yes, sir. Okay, you can move. And now you can see that in the background, I have that shirt. And I have the pocket. And I have my X marks the spot where I wanted to embroider everything. So it's very easy for me to go and take my S&P and get it exactly centered on that pocket. It doesn't matter if I didn't hoop straight. It doesn't matter if I didn't hoop in the center. It really doesn't matter anything, as long as you've got enough space to embroider what you want to embroider around your X marks the spot place. And this is why the Stellaire is so good for anybody, really at all, because getting something aligned over the pocket is really something that's kind of an advanced technique. But with the Stellaire, anybody can do it with that My Design Snap app. So you can do that with this, you can do that with a jean jacket, you can do that with this. And if you wanted to do quilting in the hoop, I could do the same thing. And I've got my quilt hooped, so I could take a picture, and this is the biggest 9.5 by 14 hoop. I could take that same kind of picture, load it to the machine, pick a quilting design, size it and rotate it to exactly fit in my block here, and quilt it out. Easy, no fuss, really easy, not a problem, and it's going to look great. And I can do it block by block by block all the way through the quilt. And it's so easy. It's like you think you're missing something, but you're not. There's even quilting designs already built into both of the Stellaires. So you can open up the quilting design, drop it into place, size it, rotate it, stitch it, and then move on to the next block. You don't have to hoop straight. You don't have to line anything up. You don't have to fuss around with rotating and checking corners. Take a picture, plop the design on it, resize, rotate, go. It's going to save you so much time when you're quilting, and you're not going to run into those little problems where you kind of thought you had it right, but then you end up coming out of the block while you were quilting. So I can't even tell you how much I love the ability to take those pictures and send them back to the embroidery machine so that I can see exactly where I'm going to be. Because if I can see where I want to be, then I know I can put the design where I want it to be. I'm not guessing and trying to put down chalk lines and any of the rest of that stuff. It's just right. And it's right and it's easy. So there are a million designs on the internet, in addition to the 727 that are built into the Stellaire embroidery machine. But if that's not enough for you, then we've got more. Well, we've had the ability for you to make more. If you have an embroidery design that you need to have that nobody else has for you, a lot of times you can use my design center to do a lot of really fun and creative things there. My design center is a blank canvas, and it's going to turn the drawings and the what you put into it. It's going to take that and it's going to turn it into things that you can stitch back out. Now, just to get started, we do have some shapes that are in here. So if I kind of grab this flower shape and put it in there. It's kind of faint. I know you can't see it, but I can go and I can add in another one, and I can resize them and do a couple of other things with them. I can resize them. I can rotate them. It's really very faint. I doubt you're going to be able to see it. But what I did do is I planned ahead, and I did that yesterday. So I can pull out of memory the flower that I put in there yesterday so that I don't have to spend as much time aligning everything up. And now it's going to get a whole lot easier to see because these are kind of just lines right now. They're not any kind of a stitch. I have line properties and I have fill properties. So if I come up here to my line, I can pick, that's not a satin stitch. Let's go for a candle wicking stitch just for fun. And let's make it purple just for fun. So I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see this, but every time I touch on a line, it turns to purple. That's telling me that it's making those changes. The yellow in the middle, though, let's have, well, it's going to be yellow in the middle in a minute. Take that back to a satin stitch, and we'll make him orange just because, and then go touch on that. And I'll just give you a quick little preview right here. See, that's what I just did. If you can't see it till you get to the preview screen, but that's what you're having a hard time seeing because the lines are kind of faint on the screen. But I can go back and go back some more. And now I can actually even fill in the, that's not the flower center, the flower center. So now the middle of my flower is going to be that color, and I can go and fill out the other 3 layers. I could, oops. No, not erase everything. So when I did that, I got an editing screen right here where I can make some changes, which I'm not going to right now. But you can see there's my finished embroidery design. And it took me no time at all to get that stitched out or to get that designed. Just to show you an example of what you can do with what's built in for the shapes. There you have a lot of different choices that you can make, and there's no way I can show them all to you. So what I have on my right, I guess your left, is just the outline of the flower. And these are shapes that were built into my design center. On the right, I've got the same flower, and I've fully stitched it out with a satin stitch. But what you have in my design center also are these things that we call decorative fills. And these decorative fills are going to let you it's kind of like background quilting, but it's more flexible. It lets you've got 15 different shapes. You could resize them, you could rotate them. So it gives you an option that's midway between nothing and everything. And then the 15 different shapes that are in there, some of them are geometric, some of them are kind of more mosaic, some of them are completely floral. So you've got a lot of fun things that you can do when it comes to filling out the shapes that you put in there. And you can also hand draw in there too. Let me go back. If I go all the way back, yeah, we'll clear that whole thing out. So I can also come in here, and if I am a good enough artist, which I am not, I can right there on the screen and digitize that.
That's really cool.
So you can take, so let me just tell you that I am very, very crafty, but the drawing gene has completely missed me. So this is my fish right here. I drew him yesterday with a Sharpie. I am not a good artist when it comes to that kind of thing. So I can come and, that's fine, clear out. We'll just go home and go back in. So this drawing actually looks like probably a 3rd grader did it, but it's the best that you're going to get out of me on any given day. I can color in the lines though. I'm very good at coloring in the lines. So if I come down here and take a picture, hold on, it's giving me a message and I can't read the message because I don't have my glasses on. Okay. Oh, you know why it's doing that? Because I didn't tell it what I wanted it to read. I can't take a picture just of the fish. I need to take a picture of the fish behind the embroidery frame so that it knows what size it is. So I'm going to lay down the fish, lay down the hoop right on top of it, and now it'll take my picture. So again, no talking while scanning. Roger, did you show them my mail tote?
Did I what?
Did you show them my mail tote?
I did.
He promised me he wasn't going to show the mail tote, so I didn't cover it.
I got caught off guard.
All right. I am sending my high quality drawing, my very sophisticated drawing, over to my phone went to sleep. I don't keep my phone connected to the store Wi-Fi for obvious reasons. So every time I go to sleep, it disconnects it because I don't want it to be attached all the time. Okay, so now I can probably send it to the machine. And it will go there, sent to my design center. Easy as that. And now I can come up here and I can import images or line drawings. I'm just going to go into images. I'm going to say I want it from the Wi-Fi. And right here at the very top is the picture that I drew yesterday that I just scanned in. So I can pick him and set him. I have the ability to resize if I want to, but that fish fit pretty well in my 5x7 hoop. So I'm just going to kind of go through a couple of more okays here to get to the fun part. So I can take my fish and just like I did to that flower, I can take my fish and turn him into an embroidery design. There's all my line options. Oop. Do I have everything there? Oh, I didn't do his eye.
That's
Okay.
Cool.
The eye didn't scan through on here, but that's easy enough for me to fix. I can just kind of take my paintbrush and do a little boop right there. Yes, Roger.
So it technically knocks out the background from the picture drawing and imports it that way, so you could choose all the different lines.
It recognizes the background. It doesn't overwrite it and knock it out, but it sees that it's there.
Okay, that's very smart.
And will give you all the lines. So it's kind of just like if you use in software. I have the ability to do this too. In my big fancy software that I own, I can also bring in a background image like this and work with it. It's amazing, and lets you do. You can do more than straight drawings though too. So now I can. There's my fish, and he is all ready to stitch out once I hit the set button. Now I have pushed over to embroidery. Oops, let me turn off that background image. And there we go. My fun little fish there is ready to go. He is ready to stitch. And actually that's what we did back up here is I did this yesterday. All right, come back again. So that's what it looks like when it stitches out.
Debo Pescado.
I have my very own brand of fish now. That's Latin for Deb's fish, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I'll give it to Corey since he's the big fisherman in the store. But it's, you know, and you can do it with that, but you can do it with so many other things too. I picked the most simple example of just taking a black and white drawing in there. But some of the other things that I can do are to make your embroidery even better is I can take an embroidery design. Let's go back to my friend, the hippo there. He's a rhino. He's a rhino. So there's my rhino. I can actually, with this button right here, send an outline of the rhino over to my design center, go into my design center, and I can bring up my hippo right there. There's his outline. I can bring in a shape and size it to make it bigger than my hippo. Rhino, he's a rhino. Jesus Christ, Deb. Okay. And then I can use that fill button to come in here and grab one of those fancy fills and put it in behind the rhino, just like that, right? So that is, undo that. But what I can do now is I can take that and I can send it over. And this stuff is so easy to do. I mean, anybody can do it. You can see that it doesn't matter if you're beginning or in the middle of your journey or have been doing embroidery for a while. There are so many cool things that you can do with all of the features that are just built right into the machine. It's just amazing. So now I'm just going to go back and I'm going to load my rhino again. And now look at that. Now my rhino has circles in the background. And so you can send things back and forth between the My Design Center and the embroidery side of either of the Stellaire machines so that you can just start letting your creativity and your imagination run free, because there are so many things that you can do with this. We have scanned the backgrounds of fabric and positioned birds on there. We've done all sorts of really fun things with our embroidery over the years. Roger, if you want to like pan back so we can go over the back wall for a second. So over here, we have my bird quilt back here.
Let's see if I can get as close to it as possible.
All right.
I'm going to have to move.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I saw where you were. You're fine.
Okay.
I stippled in the background behind all of those birds, and it took me a very long time to do. But I can use the quilting that's built into the machine to be able to do that instead. Instead of me having to do it, I can let the embroidery machine do that work for me so I can be doing something else. Or honestly, just watching it and being amazed at watching all the stitches lay down in the car and the designs come to life. If you go to the far right there with the flag, the grand old flag thing. Okay, that is an embroidery design that was actually it was supposed to be 2 hoopings in an 8x12 hoop, I think it was. But my hoop was big enough that at 9.5 by 14, I was able to put that into 1 hooping. So that big hoop saved me time and a whole lot of hassle because I didn't have to worry about rehooping and realigning anything. And then if you want to go down from there to the little dress form lady right there. This is an older sample. It came out of another machine, but it's an example of some of the things that you can do with that My Design Center. It was an embroidered design. It was super frilly and fancy. So we passed the shape over and drew some lines in there and turned this really fancy, ornate, Victorian looking dress form embroidery design into this one instead. Everything was done right on the machine. We did not pick up a mouse or a laptop for anything. And these are all of the things that you can do on the Stellaires, the XE1 or the XJ1. Back here.
I was looking at the
Roger's
monsters
looking
down there, and I was like, those are cute.
Oh, I have a wall. I have a house full of samples, and I brought in some different ones today. So the monsters were stitched out in a 5x7 hoop, but they were stitched out on a different machine. So the Stellaire gives you so much possibility for what you can do. Like I said, it's so easy that anybody can sit down at it and start embroidering. And that's one of the things that makes Brother Embroider machines so special, is that they are so intuitive and easy to use. But as you continue along your journey, as you go through and you start wanting to do things that are more and more complicated, the technology and the capabilities that are built into the Stellaire are going to make those things continue to be easy for you. So it'll be really easy for you to graduate from stitching on flat pieces of fabric to stitching on shirts, to stitching on jean jackets, to stitching on tote bags, to making your own designs. You can flow through all of those things and never once feel like you're fighting an uphill battle, because the Stellaire is so easy to use, and never once will you feel, okay, I can think of sometimes, but think weirdly sometimes. And it'll be really hard for you to come up with something that you can't figure out how to do on the Stellaire, because it has the ability to stitch out your designs beautifully. It has the ability to position your designs excellently, and it gives you the creativity to be able to make some designs on your own as well. It's really kind of the full package for you. Now, I did realize that I forgot to mention the hoop sizes. The XE1 right here, the XE1 comes with 2 hoops, the big 9.5 by 14, and then the smaller 5 by 7. And the XJ1, the combo in the back there, has those 2 hoops, but it also has the 4 by 4, and it has the 9.5 by 9.5. So you've got a lot more flexibility to use the camera scanning app on the XJ1. Now, if you're talking about actual hoops, then they both will take almost any brother hoop up to 9.5 by 14. So all the hoops that are available from the little 1 by 2.5 all the way up to the 9.5 by 14. So that's the 4 by 4, 5 by 7, 6 by 6, 6 by 10, 7 by 11, 8 by 8, 8 by 12, 9.5 by 9.5. All of those hoops will fit on both of these machines. So you really can find the hoop that you're looking for. It might not come with the machine, but it's certainly available if that's the one that's going to fit your needs the best. So I've had a lot of fun here showing you guys the Stellaire today. Blaine, did we have any questions?
No, Deb, I think you got them all. So thank you so much. A great demonstration again. And we're going to tell everybody how they can get this. So guys, this is the Stellaire series that we talked about today. The very first one that we showed was the XJ1 combination machine that Jennifer showed. The one that Deb just did is the XE1. It's the Stellaire XE1, and it's the embroidery only. Now, again, Deb talked about the hoops that come with. The price on this is $6,499. Guys, give us a call. We have some, a few little options for you, with some financing. And also for both machines, if you have a machine laying around that you want to trade in, we're going to take a trade-in on it. If you want to trade a machine to try to help you buy it. So we're taking trade-ins on this today. And again, this thing, like Deb said, that large embroidery area, it's a 9.5 by 14. It has 727 built-in designs, including 101 Disney. It has monogram and buttonhole shapes, built-in fonts, automatic, needle threading system on it. And again, it has that app that you can use your Apple phone, your iPhone to take pictures and transfer the picture right to the screen. I think that is a great app on that. And again, you're getting so much technology in both these machines built in, and they were able to get the price down because they don't have the camera on it. And that way you're never having to worry about upgrading your camera. You think about how good a camera your cell phone has, your iPhone or your Android or something has on it. They have such good cameras now, and you're probably always going to be upgrading your phones, and you're getting new cameras. So it's just going to keep getting better. And that way you're not tied into a built-in camera on the machine that might get outdated in a few years. So this is a machine that's going to last you a long time. Either one today, the XJ1 or the XE1. And like I said, we have a great deal on it today. Give us a call, 800-401-8151. If you want to trade your machine in, give them a call as well, because they can tell you how much we can give you for your machine, and you can trade that in. Or if you just want to buy it outright, I promise you're not going to be disappointed when you talk to them at the call center.
Not at all.
Not going to be disappointed today. They're going to have some really good news for you if you give them a call. So if you're in the least bit interested, call us right now at 800-401-8151. I think you'll be very happy that you did. And so anyway, 2 great machines today, guys.
Yeah, if you guys want your day to be made.
So, hey, we
Call
had some
in.
callers, and again, we're going to give you this number, and you can write this down for next week's show if you want to call in. It's 760 278 1440, right?
1440.
Okay. So it's 760-278-1440. If you want to call in and talk to me on the show, just put that down. The number's never going to change, and that'll be the number for next week as well. But we got time for one call today. Who are we going to call back?
We are going to call Julie Harlow.
Julie Harlow. So Julie, answer your phone. We're getting ready to call you,
Alrighty.
and it'll be from that number on your caller ID that I just gave you.
Let's do it.
760 area code.
Okay, calls. Let's see. Hang on, let me mute this real quick. I don't know if you see.
And then as soon as we get finished with Julie, we're going to talk about some giveaways
Yes, we
today,
are.
and then we're going to get ready for the next show.
All right, are we ready?
Yes, let's call Julie.
We're calling. All right, Julie.
It is ringing.
Hi, Blaine.
Hey, Julie. How are
I'm glad you actually called me this week.
Well, I know you called in last week, and we were going in the order of people called in, and we didn't get time to get to you, but we said we got to give her a call this week. So thank you so much for calling in.
My pleasure.
So let me ask you, I always ask everybody when we talk to them, what brand of machines mostly do you use, and then what got you into sewing?
So I prefer a Brother. Like, that's my preferred brand. My first machine that I bought was a Brother CS6000i.
Oh, yeah.
And then I started with bag making. It's a long story how I got into sewing, but I started bag making. So pretty quickly I outgrew that machine, and I got the PQ 1500 SL.
Great straight stick
Yeah.
machine.
Yeah, I love that machine. It's beautiful, and that lasted me for a long time. And then how I got into Sewing Machines Plus, I bought my first industrial machine from you, my Juki 1541S, which I adore.
That is probably our most popular industrial machine, is the 1541.
It's wonderful. I mean, it took me a little while to get used to it because it's a beast. I call her Bertha because
it's 2,500 stitches per minute. It is incredible.
Right. And I've got the servo motor, so and I put the needle positioner in, so it's got the 1 horsepower motor on. Oh my God, there's nothing that thing can't do.
Yeah, it's got, what's so great about that machine, if you're doing any kind of thing that you need that really big punching power with the needle, that is the machine to use. I mean, leather is just, we sell a lot of those for people making boat sails, the canvas boat covers, and it's just a great machine.
Yeah, it really is. And I bought, right after that, I said, well, I'm spending all this money anyway. I might as well get an embroidery machine. And after much debate and watching one of your lives, actually, I settled on the NQ 1700E.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I love that one.
Which I adore.
Yeah, that is a great machine. And, just like today, these machines we have today, the Stellaire, the XE1 is an embroidery only, just like yours. But it has, those advanced features on it. So it's kind of the bigger brother. But yeah, that machine you got is a fantastic machine. And we have sold hundreds of those things. So it's been very popular.
Yeah, I love it. It's a lot of fun. They all keep me busy. So
I bet. So are you going to watch our Quilt Fest in March?
I'll probably watch just because, I love hanging out with you guys. I'm not much of a quilter. I'm like Wolfgeist. I'm waiting for Hoop Fest, but I'll hang out on Quilt Fest, and I've done some quilting, but not a lot.
All right, Julie, I gotta throw this out there at you, okay? So I had a conversation with one of our customers. I think it was 2 years ago, and wasn't a quilter. And I threw the challenge out, said, I want you to make a quilt and enter it into Quilt Fest. And you can buy we actually sell quilt kits that are already pre-cut. All you have to do is just sew them together and do some free motion quilting on it. And so I'm going to throw the challenge out there. I think you ought to try it.
Challenge accepted.
Awesome.
I cannot turn down a challenge, so I'm going to do it.
Good. And I tell you, it is, I'm not a big sewer. I do things on demonstrations and things, but I don't sew, as a hobby. And I did, they actually challenged me. Some of our customers challenged me to make a table runner, and I did it. And we kind of filmed me doing it and stuff. And so, my thing was anybody can do this. It's you just have to start, and don't be afraid and don't be intimidated. And you've got great machines to use, and you can just start. And it doesn't matter how good it is. I mean, there's people out there that do this for a living they make these unbelievable quilts. But the thing is, just participate and have fun with it. And that's what we want you to do. So I'm glad you accepted the challenge, and I'm going to be looking for you to make the quilt and enter it in our contest.
All right, I'm going to do it. And one thing I just want to say before I go, somebody had mentioned during, I think it was Countdown to Christmas, and I was like, that is such a good idea. We need an SMP Nation cruise. Like, that's something that I think should happen.
Well,
I can't remember whose idea it was when I saw it. I thought that is such a good idea.
Well, we've had several people talk to us about that. And actually, we had talks early in the year with an outside company to do that. And just logistically and trying to work it out, it was just so hard to do. So you never know. I'm not going to say no. But you never know. If the situation works out, I would love to do that. I think it would be fun. And I know everybody would absolutely have a blast doing it, because I know there are some quilt cruises, that they do already out there. And what do you think, guys? Do we need to do a quilt cruise or just an embroidery cruise? That's what we need to know.
I'm going to vote for embroidery.
So y'all let us know in the comments.
QES, right?
QES, quilting, sewing, and embroidery. All right. So,
oh my goodness.
Well, hey, Julie, thank you so much for calling. Thank you so much for being an SMP customer and being part of the SMP Nation. And we're going to, come around next week. We're going to have another great show for you. And I'm glad you accepted the challenge. And thanks for calling in. And it was so great talking to you.
Great talking to you. Have a great day, everybody.
You too. Talk to you later. All right. There you had it, guys. So if y'all want to call in a show and talk to me and the gang, we flash that number up. We'll have some more call-ins next week on next week's show. And you can tell us, how you got started and what machines you use, or just anything that's on your mind. So, but guys, it is giveaway time. We are going to give some stuff away and get out of here. And today, guys, we're going to start out. We're going to give away some of our event bags. These are the world famous event bags that come in 9 or 8 different colors. They have unique themes on each side, and then one side of them has the SewingMachinesPlus logo and all that number. And so they're really cool. You can stash all your fabric in there. You can go to grocery stores with them. But these they're $49.99 for a bag set of 8, and we sell them for $9.99 each. We're going to give 2 customers a whole complete set. So Kennedy, spin that wheel. Here we go. Donna Gibbs. So congratulations, Donna Gibbs. She is watching today from YouTube. So Donna, all we need you to go to is to smplive.tv. Scroll down toward the bottom of that page where you see claim my prize. Fill out the information, hit submit, and we'll handle it from there. Yep. All right, Kennedy.
One more.
Spin that wheel. We're going to give us another winner of the bags. Pamela Nestler. So Pamela is watching today from YouTube as well. So congratulations, Pamela. And she's going to get herself a set of bags. So just go to smplive.tv. Scroll down toward the bottom of that page, Pam, and you'll see where it says claim my prize. Fill out all the information, hit submit, and we will get those shipped right out to you. All right, next up, we are going to give away one of our world famous sewing mats.
Yep.
And guess what I'm going to do, Kennedy?
What are you going to do, Blaine?
I'm going to include the leopard print mat as well. You can win. So you got 13 different colors to choose from.
No longer 12.
In 4 different sizes other than the leopard print. We only have it in medium and large, but we're going to let you pick which one you want. So Kennedy, spin that wheel. And I'm telling you right now, guys, if y'all don't have a sew mat, you're doing your machine a disservice. So happy. So happy is our winner. She is also watching from YouTube today. So congratulations, So Happy. go to SMPlive.tv. Scroll down toward the bottom of that page. You'll see, claim my prize, fill out all information, hit submit. And most importantly, in that comment section, tell us what size of sew mat you want and what color, and we'll get that shipped out to you. We're going to give one more sew mat away, Kennedy, so spin that wheel again.
Woo!
Clovis Perkins.
Yes!
So Clovis is watching from YouTube again. Man, we got a lot of YouTube winners
We
today.
do.
So Clovis, congratulations. You just won yourself a sew mat. So Clovis, you need to go find out what color you want, what size, and then just scroll down on smplive.tv. On that page, you'll find where it says claim my prize. Fill out the information, let us know the size and color, hit submit, and we will get that shipped to you. All right, next up is a $100 gift card to Sewing Machines Plus. You can either, if you're local in the Southern California area and you want to come into one of the retail stores, we have one in Mission Bay and in San Marcos. You can use them there, or you can just use them, put them in the checkout, the code in the checkout on our SMP website, and you can get $100 off your order. So Kennedy, spin that wheel.
Okay.
Marlene,
Hovagamian?
I'm not even gonna, Marlene H. I'm not even going to attempt to say your last name, Marlene. But congratulations, she's watching today from YouTube, and you just won yourself a $100 gift card. Just go down to smplive.tv, scroll down toward the bottom of that page. You'll see where it says claim my prize. Fill out the information, and then we will email you a coupon or a gift card code, I should say, and that way you can use that at checkout. So congratulations, Marlene. And our grand prize today is going to be a Encore 260A sewing machine. Guys, this is a great little sewing machine, weighs about 12 pounds, very portable, great for retreats, take it on the road with you. Does a really good job of stitching, and this is made for Sewing Machines Plus. This is our own brand of machine, the Encore 260A, and we are going to give a lucky viewer one of those. So Kennedy, spin that wheel.
Hey.
Susan Nation. Susan won it. Susan's watching today from YouTube, so congratulations, Susan. You just won yourself a sewing machine. So Susan, we need you to go to smplive.tv, scroll down toward the bottom of that page, and you'll see where it says claim my prize. Fill out the information, and as soon as we get that, we will ship your machine right to your doorstep. So how's that?
Woo!
All right, everybody.
Dang.
Another great show today, and thanks for Jennifer and Deb coming on and doing the demonstrations. We hope you enjoyed those machines. And again, guys, if you have an interest in one of those machines, give us a call today at 800-401-8151. We have a fantastic offer for you. You could either even do a trade-in. If you have a machine you want to trade in, you can send that in, but give us a call. I promise you, if you're interested in either one of the machines, that call is going to be worth your time. I promise. And anyway, guys, Kennedy next week has got her show. She'll have Carly Bell on Tuesday next week at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And then we'll be back in here on Thursday next week at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Central. And we'll have another great show and another guest. So don't want you to miss it. And again, mark your calendars. Quilt Fest is coming up. It's going to be March 13th through the 17th. So guys, if you haven't liked our Facebook page, go like it right now. If you haven't, commented, make comments, like it, share it. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, go subscribe right now. Hit that thumbs up and hit the bell notification. Be informed. And guys, we hope that you have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend, and we'll see y'all next Thursday.
Bye.
See you.